Thanks very much, Tim, and thanks for the opportunity to speak today in the ShareCafe. Yeah, I'm the CEO of Emu. I've been here for the last 18 months with Emu. We don't do a lot of presentations. We do a lot of work. We're a very, very busy explorer. The last 4 years, we've been up in the Maricunga region in Chile, in the Andes, exploring there. But given the lack of progress that we made there, and in order to save the resources we had, and the looming global pandemic, coupled with some, I guess, the issues that Chile are having for sovereign risk, the board made a decision to generate or put more effort into project generation. We had a global focus initially, but ultimately that came back to us selecting projects within driving distance of our office in West Perth. So that's proved to be a very, very good strategy, and it's landed us with some excellent projects along the way. So these are discrete projects, all based within the greenstone belts, WA wheat belt, and undercover gold, nickel and copper, essentially. Our share capital, we've been around since 2007, and I guess in comparison to some of our peers, we're 360 million shares. We're doing okay. We've got an extraordinary loyal register owned by true believers who believe what we do and like how we operate. But we'd like to see a little bit more volume in our stock. And as I mentioned, this is our first presentation for about 18 months. Currently, cash at bank reported October 20, 1.3 million. As far as our stock goes, trading at 5 cents these days or today. And in terms of directors' holdings with fully paid and contribs, around about 9% of the stock. Next slide, please. This is our board. I know a lot of juniors talk about the experience in our board, but we can demonstrate that with very good DNA, particularly with our chairman, Peter Thomas, who was the founding chairman of Sunfire Resources, and Terry Streeter, founding chairman of Western Areas, and of course his involvement with nickel and Jubilee mines. So strong copper, nickel and gold. Gavin Rutherford is a contractor, adding great diversity on the board. And Tim is our focus on the finance side, with equity and capital markets, and as a chief investment strategist for sovereignman.com. Next slide, please. Exploration projects that we've selected in WA, and then we looked extensively for good projects, and we've, as I say, mentioned that we're in driving distance from Perth. These projects represented gold, nickel, copper, and all of them have had some form of exploration history or mining activity on them. They're essentially drill ready. We're actually drilling now at Gnows Nest at Yalgoo, which is very close to the project that Andrew was talking about in the Yalgoo area. We're drilling 9,000 metres of RC as we speak. All of the projects are logistically beneficial. We've got road transport, service by towns. So we've selected these so that these can be operated very quickly. Adds a completely different dimension from working in remote Chile. Next slide, please. Gnows Nest Gold project at Yalgoo is a historic high-grade gold mine, mined between 1923 and 1941. The mine stopped at level 5, 145 metres below surface. 22 grams of gold grade for about 28,000 ounces. It stopped primarily because the water couldn't be controlled, and labour shortages during World War II. We've identified, or our vendors identified, a shallow mineral resource open to depth and along strike, which we're testing now, and we're currently doing a resource drill out. This area has extensive upside potential. It's located in the same greenstone belt as Golden Grove, and the recent success by Firefly to our north and Venture Minerals to our east demonstrates the prospectivity. We're currently also running an IP geophysics program for gradient array, which will give us some better vectors on our structural. Next slide, please. Alongside or adjoining Gnows Nest, we've managed to round up some prospectors leases that have been held for the last 60 years or so under private ownership, as has the Gnows Nest Gold Mine. So we've been able to package the Gnows Nest prospect in the Monte Cristo prospect in with Gnows Nest, providing us an additional 3 kilometres of strike, which has a series of historic gold workings along. We've been one of the priorities this program is to also drill out the old Monte Cristo gold prospect, which we've started to do. Next prospect, please. Next slide, please. So this magnetic picture on the left shows where we're located and how our tenements come together and how we've amalgamated the package. A very interesting geology, a greenstone, digested greenstone sitting between two granite intrusions, VMS on the east side, but gold through a pathfinder in the historic mine at Gnows Nest there. So we're anticipating that we will continue to open up new ground through here, and we've got some very exciting prospect here. Next slide, please. Sunfire is a package of tenements that adjoins the Venture Minerals Southwest project, in which Chalice have taken up recently in looking for another Julimar lookalike. We haven't even started here. All of these projects we've only picked up in the last few months, and I think we announced on the 28th of September. So we've got lots of work, but this is a pretty exciting potential nickel sulfide. It's had some soil sampling and it's shown some nickel, a large nickel and a large copper anomaly. There's been diamond drilling and percussion drilling done there. There's been IP surveys. We're pulling it all together at the moment, but it looks to be that we can do much work in extending the strike that has already been identified. We've got a highly anomalous copper, 100 times background, which is of great interest to us. Next slide, please. Some of the results from the drilling, in particular of interest to us, has been the high nickel, where we're actually looking at nickel sulfide. So we're getting up to 1.8% from 16 metres on the drill. And if you see that picture there, you'll see that the north and south extent of these anomalies have been truncated at fence lines. So one of the things that has been obviously difficult in the past has been access. In our due diligence process, we're able to engage with landowners, and that led us to take up the project on the basis that we had access to extend that section. But as I mentioned, the Southwest project that Venture have and now Chalice are looking after join us to the north and to the west. So it's a pretty exciting project for us. Next slide, please. The Viper project is a historic copper mine, which is located just north of Jerramunga in Western Australia. It's produced something like between 600 and 300 tonne of copper, high-grade copper. We're not sure, it's very difficult to ascertain the historical records here, but it is a mine. It apparently has 5 drives with a total depth of 13.5 metres, although there is some talk of it being much deeper but having collapsed. It's a discrete historical occurrence, and copper, nickel, PGEs, and possible gold. It's associated with shearing and some mafic intrusions. The interesting thing about this project is that no work has been done there other than the mine. So that is the pathfinder. There's been no drilling, and there's been no geochem in that particular area. Regionally, there has been a little bit of work. Next slide, please. Graceland is what we call a bullseye target. It's a quick one for us because it's a red or green, go or stop. It's 40 k's south of Hayden in WA. It's a 5 kilometre long magnetic feature, which is 7 kilometres away from the Quicksilver discovery that Gold Mine Resources have got. That is a laterite discovery. Gracelands is conspicuously absent of any laterite development. So we are targeting here sulfide nickel, and we've got very, very strong magnetic signature, 70 to 120 metres. We have also been able to get access to this land with the landowners, the farmers. So we're able to get into there and test this very soon. Next slide, please. 8 Mile Dam is a project up in Menzies. This is a hot area. We originally took this up to look for gold, and we've discovered that we'll now be looking for nickel. We've got a slither of ultramafic greenstone here, and we'll be starting a auger drilling program shortly for this undercover. Next slide, please. So we're a very active explorer, as I mentioned. We have substantial news flow this year, 5 discrete and separate exploration projects, each with distinct targets. Assay results will be coming through as of now. In the next few weeks, we'll be progressively putting those to market through to April. They will be coming from our 9,000 metre RC program at Gnows Nest, which is the picture you see there. We're looking at high-grade gold, and I'm targeting a resource upgrade, testing depth and strike extensions at Gnows Nest. We have the potential to be mining this in the next 12 months or so. We have a number of approvals already in place, and we've been blessed by the fact that we've got toll treatment available from a number of mills in the area. Drilling's also happening at the Monte Cristo project, so prospect, so there'll be some news flow coming from there. So I guess we've got the right minerals at the right time, diversified through gold, copper, nickel and PGEs. We've got budgets to do work on ground at all these projects over the next 12 months. We're based within driving distance of Perth, and we have no land access issues. So we're worth following for the moment. We have quite a strong news flow, as I mentioned, coming through this year. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug. I haven't heard of Emu, and there's not a lot of chatter about it, so it's nice to be introduced to the company. You've got a quality board there, and you look like you've got some great assets. Do the assets come to you, or do you go looking for them, particularly being so close to home?
Tim, we've been a global company. We've explored across the world since 2007, and our focus to WA resulted from, I guess, we looked at over 70 projects globally, and we're already looking at projects before the pandemic broke. But our strategy defined itself to WA fairly quickly because we needed to access. We have a team in-house. We don't outsource our geology or any of our exploration. So we needed to make sure we could work. So yeah, no, we actually targeted it here.
And drill rigs. We always hear there's kind of a shortage of equipment. Is that the case at the moment?
Yeah, look, it is, but we're very fortunate that one of the vendors of one of the projects is on the register, and we've found that has been incredibly fortuitous for us. And we also hear that assays and laboratories have been difficult to turn around sampling. I can't speak highly enough of the laboratory we're using, and we're able to turn around our results fairly quickly. That's why I'm confident that I can say that we'll be having assay results through February, March and April.
And a question in terms of results, a question here on your quarterly reports that they're due shortly?
Yes, the quarterly reports will be out, if not today, over the weekend.